Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the AEW Dynamite review. Dynamite just ended already, and Dynamite tonight was from the Indiana Farmers Coliseum in Indianapolis, Indiana. And this was their go-home show for Full Gear, which is this Saturday, which I am looking forward to. But Dynamite tonight, I gotta say, it was an okay show. It wasn't their best show. It was just, in my opinion, a filler show just for them to get to Full Gear this Saturday. But the wrestling tonight was very good. We saw Bryan Danielson. He ended up taking on Romero from New Japan. We also saw a women's trios match where it was Conti, Anna Jay, and Thunder Rosa versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Rebel, and Jamie Hayter. We also saw Jungle Boy versus Anthony Bowens, Warlow versus Wheeler Yuta, Dante Martin and Leo Rush versus Matt Sydal and Lee Moriarty, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. We also saw Pac versus Dax Harward, and we had the contract signing between Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. It was a contract signing for their match at Full Gear this Saturday, where the AEW World Championship is going to be on the line. But overall, Dynamite tonight was an okay show, but wasn't their best, in my opinion. But let's jump right into the review. So, Dynamite tonight opened up with Bryan Danielson versus Romero. And Romero, he's from New Japan, and this is the first time I've seen him compete in the ring. I'd say he's a pretty good wrestler here from what we saw tonight with him and Bryan Danielson. So the match started off with Romero. He was going for a submission. Bryan Danielson ended up getting to the ropes. Bryan Danielson ended up doing a lace lock takedown to Romero, and the two were back into the corner. Romero was doing some back elbows. He ended up sending Bryan into the corner. He ended up running up the ropes, ended up flipping out, and Romero ended up using Bryan's momentum, which he sent Bryan out of the ring. So, of course, Romero ended up coming out along with Orange Cassidy. So Orange Cassidy was out there. So Orange Cassidy was shown near Bryan, and Cassidy ended up putting his hands in his pockets. Romero then ended up landing the suicide dive, and he delivered a chop as Bryan ended up rolling back into the ring. Romero ended up doing a second rope knee drop to Bryan's shoulder. So both Bryan and Romero were trading chops in the corner. Bryan delivered a flurry of kicks, which dropped Romero. So Romero ended up scrambling back up. The two ended up on the ropes, and Bryan ended up delivering a knee to Romero's ribs and a kick to the back of Romero. Romero ended up firing back with a springboard spinning DDT on Bryan. And there was a point where Matt Hardy was looking on from ringside. He was sitting out there, and he was mocking away at Orange Cassidy. He was mocking Orange Cassidy's, thumbs up that he does. So Romero was then delivering some kicks to Bryan, and he delivered a drop kick, a second rope drop kick to Bryan. Romero then ended up heading out to the floor, and he ended up landing a hurricanrana off the ring steps to Bryan. Both of them went back to the ring, and Romero ended up delivering running sliced bread to Bryan. He went for the cover. Bryan kicked out at 2. So Bryan came back, delivered an elbow strike and a German suplex with the bridge to Romero, and Romero ended up kicking out at 2. So both guys ended up on the top turnbuckle, and he was looking to go for a back suplex. Romero ended up countering that, and he ended up crashing down on Bryan, went for the cover. Bryan kicked out at 2. And then Romero went right into the triangle choke on Bryan. So later on, Bryan was able to work over Romero. He ended up looking to go for a submission. He finally locked in the Tequila Sunrise on Romero. Romero ended up tapping out. So there you go. Bryan Danielson ended up winning the match. Overall, this was a very good match. Like I said, this is the first time I have seen Rocky Romero compete in the ring. I haven't seen his New Japan matches, but from what I saw from Romero tonight, he is pretty good. He is pretty good in the ring. So I'd like to see more of Rocky Romero. But these guys worked really well together in this match, and it was entertaining. And then we saw Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone was in the ring. He was ready to interview the Inner Circle about their Minneapolis street fight against American Top Team at Full Gear this Saturday. So we had the Inner Circle. We had Jericho, Guevara, Santana Ortiz, and Jake Hager. They ended up heading out to the stage, and they got attacked by American Top Team. They ended up getting attacked from behind by them. So Dan Lambert was out there. Dan Lambert was laughing away at his guys being down on the Inner Circle. He was loving it. So we had Junior Dos Santos. He tossed Sammy Guevara's TNT Championship aside, and he was just punching away at Guevara. We had Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, Men of the Year. They end up ramming Santana into the ring steps. American Top Team had weapons in hand. We saw a trash can lid, a kendo stick. There was a table that was sent into the ring, which got set up in the corner. So Jericho was put upon Dan Lambert's shoulders by Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. So they end up powerbombing Jericho through the table, and Scorpio Sky end up getting on the mic and he ended up yelling, "By God, he might be broken in half." Of course, referencing good old JR, Jim Ross. But Scorpio Sky ended up saying that this is just a taste of what they are going to get at Full Gear. So Ethan Page ended up saying they are not only going to win, but they are going to make sure Lambert pins Jericho. So Ethan Page ended up saying tonight, Dan Lambert is going to make Jericho tap out. And also put Jericho in the walls of Jericho. But it's called a Boston Crab. So we had Dan Lambert end up making Jericho tap out. So Dan Lambert ended up yelling into the mic, and pretty much that was basically that. But Dan Lambert got a ton of boos from the crowd. And, Dan Lambert, you could tell, he likes what he does. It's probably a dream for him, to get this kind of heat from the crowd. So, but when you get that type of heat from the crowd, when they're booing the hell out of you, that's pretty good, because you're being a good heel there. You want the fans to hate you very much. And that's what, he's doing. So, but Dan Lambert, he's doing his job. He's doing his job good. So, but overall, this was, a very intense segment here. Building up hype for the Inner Circle and American Top Team's Minneapolis Street Fight at Full Gear. It should be a very good match there. Really looking forward to it. And I know at some point in that match, Jericho has to make Dan Lambert bleed. I think there's going to be blood in that match, but we'll just have to wait and see. I know probably Jericho is going to make Dan Lambert bleed. So I could sense that happening. And then it was the women's trios match. It was Ty Conti, Anna Jay, and Thunder Rosa versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Jamie Hayter, and the one who I always say they should keep the fuck out of the ring because she's so horrible. And I'm talking about Rebel. Oh, I had to induce another match with Rebel in it. My God, Rebel fucking sucks. She is absolutely awful in the ring. She should just stick to being Britt Baker's manager. And I keep on saying that. Why AEW loves at some points to put Rebel in a match. She's fucking god-awful. So the match started off with a brawl between the women. Britt Baker ended up bailing out of the ring away from Ty Conti. Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker end up getting things started. So there was, crowd chants of Thunder Rosa and DMD chants. The crowd was split here because there are some who love Thunder Rosa, there are some who love Britt Baker. So both Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker was doing a couple of counters. Of course, Rebel ended up coming in. Rebel was throwing a few strikes away at Thunder Rosa. Of course, she ended up taking a hip toss and a drop kick from Thunder Rosa. Not even a minute. Rebel's in there, and already, she's just throwing some counters, and already she takes a hip toss and a drop kick from Thunder Rosa. You can tell how awful she is. So Thunder Rosa ended up delivering a facebuster across the knee. Thunder Rosa then delivered a chop in the corner to Rebel. So she ended up tagging in Anna Jay. She then tossed Thunder Rosa into Rebel. And then we had Anna Jay end up tossing Rebel, and it spilled out to the floor. So Anna Jay was able to get some momentum in the match against Britt Baker. Jamie Hayter ended up coming in, but she ended up getting dropped by Britt Baker. Britt Baker ended up getting dropped. Ty Conti was delivering a bunch of pump kicks in the corner on all three women, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Rebel. So she ended up hitting the TKO on Jamie Hayter. Britt Baker ended up breaking up the pin. And she ended up hitting Thunder Rosa and Anna Jay. At the end of the match, you had Ty Conti end up delivering a DDT as Britt Baker was coming into the ring. But Britt Baker ended up staying away. And I'll give you all one guess. Who took the pin? Was it Britt Baker? No. Was it Jamie Hayter? No. It was Rebel. So Rebel ended up taking the pin. So Anna Jay, Ty Conti, and Thunder Rosa ended up winning the match. Another pin Rebel took. Now you see why she's horrible in the ring. But this match was just meh, in my opinion. Please, AEW, please keep Rebel out of the ring. Please. I don't want to see any more matches with Rebel in it. So then we had a video package highlighting Chris Statlander and Ruby Soho's match in the TBS Championship Women's Tournament, which that's going to be a good match there. Chris Statlander, Ruby Soho. That's going to be awesome to see. And then we had Jungle Boy versus Anthony Bowens. This was a good match here. Jungle Boy made his way out, of course. Tarzan Boy plays. Crowd is behind Jungle Boy. So then Anthony Bowens came out along with Max Caster. Max Caster was on the mic. Max Caster was ripping on Jungle Boy, how Jungle Boy ends up stuttering on every promo that he gives. And of course, he ended up ripping on Jungle Boy, leaving Anna Jay along with 7 other guys. Of course, talking about the Dark Order. And he was like, "You're so progressive. I gotta emphasize, because you leave your girlfriend alone with 7 guys." So that was what Max Caster had to say. But the best, rap that Max Caster did was on Rampage last Friday, where he was ripping on Bryan Danielson, and he ended up, ripping on his father-in-law, John Laurinaitis, referencing the releases, the WWE releases that came out last Thursday. So that was the best. That was the best rip that Max Caster did last week on Rampage. So the match got underway. Both Jungle Boy and Anthony Bowens were trading waist locks, and Bowens ended up sending Jungle Boy out to the mat. Bowens was taunting Jungle Boy, and Jungle Boy came back, started delivering some strikes in the corner to Bowens. He delivered a kick to the back of Bowens' leg, and then he laid one into Bowens' face. So Jungle Boy then delivered a chop to Bowens' chest. He was looking to go for a top rope move, but he ended up taking a knee to the midsection by Bowens. So Jungle Boy came back. He was delivering some shots. He ended up climbing up the ropes. He ended up hitting an arm drag and a drop kick and a kip up to Anthony Bowens. And the crowd really popped for Jungle Boy there. And Jungle Boy looked like he grew out his facial hair a bit. So that was shown on him. So Max Caster ended up getting his hat ripped off by Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy ended up trying to avoid Bowens. He ended up getting grabbed by the hair, and he ended up taking a headbutt by Bowens to the back of the head. Jungle Boy was now on the apron. Max Caster ended up grabbing Jungle Boy's foot while the referee was distracted by Bowens. Bowens ended up delivering a kick to Jungle Boy's midsection, and then he drove his knee into Jungle Boy's head. Jungle Boy came back, delivered a elbow strike and some chops and a basement drop kick and a lariat to Bowens, which that lariat ended up flattening Bowens out. It was a pretty good lariat from Jungle Boy to Bowens. Bowens ended up coming back, had some offense on Jungle Boy. He ended up going for a cover to Jungle Boy, which Jungle Boy ended up kicking out too. Max Caster was up on the apron. Jungle Boy ended up sending Caster out to the floor while he was trying to apply the snare trap. So he ended up hitting the suicide dive on Max Caster. Jungle Boy ended up getting on the apron. Bowens ended up delivering a drape and reverse DDT on Jungle Boy. He went for the cover. Jungle Boy ended up kicking out too. Bowens then ended up lifting Jungle Boy up, and he countered right into the snare trap. Max Caster was shown reaching out to Bowens, but Bowens ended up tapping out. And so there you go. Jungle Boy ended up winning the match. Post-match, Bobby Fish immediately ran out to the ring, and he ended up kicking Jungle Boy down from the second rope. Bobby Fish delivered some strikes to Jungle Boy, and he ended up kneeing Jungle Boy in his midsection. Bobby Fish then did a overhead suplex into the ropes to Jungle Boy. And then Christian Cage and Luchasaurus end up making their way out. Bobby Fish ended up retreating out of the ring. And pretty much that was that. But overall, this was a decent match between Jungle Boy and Anthony Bowens. But decent match. And then we went backstage, and Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, and Adam Cole were shown talking. Adam Cole ended up saying that he's known someone for a long time to Matt and Nick. So Adam Cole ended up saying that he wants to introduce Bobby Fish, which Bobby Fish was there. And of course, Bobby Fish and Adam Cole were part of one of my favorite stables in NXT. Of course, the Undisputed Era. And Matt Jackson ended up saying that he knows Bobby Fish is the new guy, but there is no dispute. and that there's only the Elite and the Super Clique. Matt Jackson ended up saying that anybody Adam Cole vouches for, they are good with. And Adam Cole ended up saying that Bobby Fish can take on Jungle Boy this Friday on Rampage and bring him down a notch before Full Gear. So we had Adam Cole and the Bucks. They end up heading off. And on commentary, they end up describing Bobby Fish as a mercenary for Adam Cole. And of course, they were once a part of the best stable in NXT. Triple H's NXT, not this NXT 2.0 that we're seeing on NXT television now. Of course, they were part of the Undisputed Era. Bobby Fish, Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly. And once Kyle O'Reilly's contract is up with NXT in WWE, I could see Kyle O'Reilly going to AEW, so we might have a little reunion between Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. They'll call themselves the Undisputed Elite. So I could definitely see that happening once Kyle O'Reilly's contract is up with NXT. He goes to AEW, and we get that reunion between the three of them. That's how I see it. But that's my prediction. I may be wrong on that, but it would be awesome for them to have this reunion there in AEW. It would be awesome to see Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish all back together. The only one that would be missing is Roderick Strong. But I could definitely see them doing that. I could definitely see Kyle O'Reilly going to AEW once his contract is up. And then we had a hype package for Eddie Kingston versus CM Punk, which we're going to see Saturday at Full Gear. Looking forward to that match. Like both guys, fan of CM Punk, like Eddie Kingston, and they're going to deliver one hell of a match this Saturday at Full Gear. Can't wait to see it. And then we had Wheeler Yuta, Jobber Yuta, as I would call him, versus Warlow. Squash match. Yuta ended up coming out along with Chuck Taylor, Chucky T, and Orange Cassidy. Match started off with Yuta delivering a drop kick to Warlow. He ended up trying to go for another drop kick, but Warlow ended up swiping him away. Warlow ended up slamming Yuta down. Wheeler got back up. He was looking to go for a springboard cutter. He ended up slipping and didn't catch Warlow. Warlow ended up picking him up and dropped him down to the mat. Warlow was delivering power bombs to Yuta, and the crowd here was behind Warlow. They were like, oh yeah, destroy this guy, destroy Yuta, he's nothing but a jobber. So he was delivering some power bombs, and he put Yuta on the top rope. Warlow ended up hitting a rising knee strike as Yuta was laid out. So Warlow went for the cover, and there you go. Warlow ended up winning the match. Post-match, Isaiah Cassidy and the Blade of the Hardy family office, they end up running down to the ring, and they end up being down on Chucky T and Orange Cassidy. Matt Hardy end up coming into the ring with a chair in hand. So Matt Hardy then delivered a chair strike to Chucky T, and Matt Hardy then put the chair around Orange Cassidy's neck. And Matt Hardy then delivered a twist of fate to Orange Cassidy with the chair around his neck. And Isaiah Cassidy was just recording all this with Matt Hardy's phone. So that was basically that. So, but we all know Orange Cassidy's going to be wearing a neck brace around him. But overall, this was a squash match. Wheeler Yuta versus Warlow. Easy win for Warlow here. And then when Dynamite came back from the commercial, we saw CM Punk and Eddie Kingston going at it in the parking lot. And we had a bunch of superstars and referees and officials. They were trying to keep Punk and Eddie Kingston separated. Ruby Soho was out there for some reason. So they were yelling at each other from a distance, both Punk and Kingston. Kingston ended up breaking free. He tried running towards Punk, but he got stopped. So pretty much that was basically that. Just, more hype for their match for this Saturday at Full Gear. So, but it was crazy for that little bit, that we saw tonight with them. And then we had Lio Rush and Dante Martin versus Matt Sydal and Lee Moriarty. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. And this was a good match here. This was a very entertaining match. Lio Rush, back in AEW ring, always been a fan of Lio Rush. And Dante Martin, he's good in the ring. And Lee Moriarty, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. This is the first time I've seen him compete in the ring. He's a very good wrestler from what I saw in the match tonight. So the match got underway with Dante Martin and Lee Moriarty in the ring. So the crowd was behind Lee here. So it was back and forth between them. And Lio Rush wanted to get into the ring, so he ended up tagging in. And Matt Sydal came in. Lio Rush ended up trying to talk to Moriarty, but Matt Sydal ended up saying that he's trying to talk to him. And so Lio Rush and Matt Sydal were landing some shots. Moriarty delivered a strike on Lio Rush from the corner. Matt Sydal ended up flipping Lio Rush, but Lio Rush ended up landing on his feet. And you gotta love the quickness of Lio Rush. Lio Rush, he is, very good in the ring, very fast, and the guy's talented. So we had Lio Rush end up delivering a springboard hurricanrana. There was a brawl that ensued between the teams. Dante Martin ended up flipping over Matt Sydal and delivered a second rope dropkick to Matt Sydal. Lio Rush and Lee Moriarty was in the ring, and Lee Moriarty ended up delivering a big boot to Lio Rush and a European uppercut. Lio Rush came back, delivered a bunch of strikes on Moriarty. Moriarty then delivered a flipping facebuster to Lio Rush. He went for the cover. Rush ended up kicking out too. Matt Sydal was in the ring, and they ended up sending Rush into the corner, and Lio Rush ended up elbowing Matt Sydal away. Lio Rush ended up flipping away from Lee Moriarty, and he delivered Insiguri, and he ended up heading out to the floor. And at the end of the match, we had Lio Rush end up delivering a Insiguri on Matt Sydal. He delivered a hook kick to Lee Moriarty, and Dante Martin ended up delivering a double springboard moonsault press on Lee Moriarty. So Dante Martin went for the cover, and there you go. Lio Rush and Dante Martin ended up winning the match. Overall, this was a very awesome match, very good match. Lio Rush and Dante Martin were good here. Lee Moriarty, like I said, very impressed by his in-ring work here. And Lio Rush and Dante Martin, make a good tag team from what we saw in this match tonight. But very entertaining match. And then we had a package with Miro. Miro ended up saying that Bryan Danielson is everything to everyone, but he's nothing to him. Miro ended up saying that he needs to win this tournament, and that he needs to put the AEW World Championship over his shoulder. Miro ended up saying that Bryan better prepare to say goodbye to his wife, so he can say hello to his. So Miro really wants that AEW World Championship. So his time will come. But it was a pretty good package from Miro. And then we had Dax Harward versus Pac. Of course, the Death Triangle were banned from ringside, and also, the Pinnacle, guys, they were banned also. And on commentary, they end up saying that Tully Blanchard has a manager's license. So Tully Blanchard was allowed to be out there for the match. But this was a good match here. We had both Dax Harward and Pac. They were trading some strikes. Pac ended up dropping Dax Harward with a shoulder tackle. And then Pac delivered a power slam. And both were trading arm drag takeovers. And the crowd was really into this match here. So Harwood ended up delivering a lariat to Pac. Both guys were trading forearms, and Harwood ended up delivering a big punch to Pac. Dax Harwood was then knocked out to the floor by Pac. Pac ended up hitting Harwood with a twist and splash. And Harwood ended up being put up on the top turnbuckle from Pac. Pac ended up heading up to the top. And Pac ended up hitting a brainbuster, which looked brutal on Harwood. So Harwood was shown bleeding a little bit. Pac ended up heading up to the top rope. And Tully Blanchard got involved. So Pac ended up doing a shotgun dropkick to Harwood's back. Pac ended up climbing up to the top. And Harwood ended up rolling away from him. Pac ended up delivering some shots to Harwood, which sent Harwood into the corner. Tully Blanchard ended up pulling Harwood away from Pac. So Harwood ended up getting advantage of the match. He ended up delivering a brainbuster on Pac at this point in the match. He went for the cover. Pac ended up kicking out of two. And Harwood was getting frustrated at this point in the match. So Harwood was throwing some shots in at Pac, but Pac was still staying in the match. Pac ended up looking to go for a backslide, and he transitioned right into the brutalizer, which when Pac ended up getting the brutalizer on Harwood, Harwood immediately tapped out. So there you go. Pac ended up winning the match. Post-match, Pac kept the brutalizer on Harwood, applied still. And Cash Wheeler ended up running to the ring. He ended up decking Pac. He was stomping away at Pac. Tully Blanchard also was getting involved. And so the lights went out in the arena. And then they came back on. And both Andrade El Idolo and Malachi Black were in the ring. So Andrade El Idolo and Malachi Black were attacking Pac. So then we had Rey Fenix and Penta. They ended up coming out. Cody Rhodes came down from the crowd. And so we had an all-out brawl ensue between all these guys. And so that was that. But overall, this was a good match from Dax Harward and Pac. Enjoyed it. And then on commentary, they went over what we're going to see Friday on Rampage. We're going to be getting Jungle Boy versus Bobby Fish. So that should be a pretty decent match there. And we're going to have Matt Hardy versus Orange Cassidy. And it's going to be a lumberjack match. So we're going to be seeing those two matches on Rampage this Friday. And they went over what the buy-in is going to be before AEW Full Gear. So the buy-in match will be Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter versus Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida. I can say right there, Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida are going to win the match. That's my prediction. And they also announced one match that got added to the Full Gear card, which the Full Gear card is looking very good. It's a good card. But this match they announced was added to the card. So at Full Gear, it's going to be Pac and Cody Rhodes versus Andrade El Idolo and Malachi Black. So that should be a pretty good match up there, pretty good tag team match there. But those, are the matches that we're going to get, a Full Gear, the buy-in match, and the match that was added to the Full Gear card. The tag team match, Pac and Cody Rhodes versus Andrade and Malachi Black. And then we had the contract signing between Kenny Omega and Hangman Page for their match at Full Gear, where the AEW World Championship is going to be on the line. So Tony Schiavone, he was in the ring, and it was announced that Tony Khan has banned everyone from the ring for this contract signing. He banned the Dark Order, he banned the Bucks, also Adam Cole, Brandon Cutler. So Hangman and Page end up going to sign the contract. And he ended up getting on the mic. He ended up saying that he's not sure what's left to say. So he then signs the contract. He ends up saying that the sooner he gets to Full Gear to beat Omega's ass and take the AEW World Championship. So he signs the contract. Kenny Omega ended up talking to Hangman and Page about how they were once friends and they were once family. Omega ended up saying that everything in AEW was meant for Page. But if it wasn't for his failures and insecurities, he'd have it. So Omega was like, what a disappointment. Page ended up saying that Omega was always afraid of him. And that Omega never wanted to light a fire under his ass. So he'll become champion and take what Omega has. So Omega ended up saying that he cared about Page. He ended up saying that he wants to shake Page's hand one last time before they go at it at Full Gear. So both Omega and Page end up shaking hands. Omega ended up saying that he's proud of Page. So Omega ended up walking to the apron. And then we see this cameraman. The cameraman ends up clocking Page with the camera. And the cameraman was revealed to be Don Callis. So Don Callis makes his return. He's been away for 6 weeks. And he was all disguised. He had the beard. And Hangman and Page was shown bleeding from the head from that camera shot from Don Callis. So Omega ended up signing the contract in Page's blood. So he just rubbed Page's blood on the contract. And that was how Dynamite went off the air. Overall, really enjoyed this contract signing. Don Callis, coming back. We haven't seen Don Callis, in 6 weeks. But I could tell that Don Callis was going to be back for this match and managing Kenny Omega. But this was an enjoyable contract signing. Overall, Dynamite was okay. Wasn't the best Dynamite, in my opinion. It was just, in my opinion, a filler episode just so we could get to Full Gear. But anyways, that's it for my review of tonight's Dynamite. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all later.